Commanders Nation, this is about to blow up! Just when you thought this season couldn't get any crazier, a nuclear bomb just dropped that could change everything about this team's future. We're talking about an offensive coordinator who could turn Jayden Daniels into the next big-time quarterback in this league. But hold up, that's not all. There's another option on the table too. Someone who's developed elite QBs and has direct ties to Dan Quinn and Adam Peters. And if that wasn't enough, one of our star defenders just got into serious legal trouble. 3 explosive stories that are going to shape the Commanders 2026. You ready? Because I promise you, after this video, you're going to be just as hyped as I am. Let's go! Story 1. Mike McDaniel. I can't believe what I just saw. The Miami Dolphins just fired Mike McDaniel as head coach. And let me tell you something, Commanders Nation, this is the opportunity we've been waiting for. Do you realize what it means to have McDaniel available right when we need an offensive coordinator? This is like hitting the coaching lottery. Let me be real with you. Firing Cliff Kingsbury was a risky move. I get it. The season was a mess. 5-12. Injuries everywhere. The offense never found its rhythm. But now Dan Quinn has to prove that move was worth it. And the only way to do that is by bringing in someone better. And guess what? McDaniel is exactly that. This guy comes from Kyle Shanahan's coaching tree. We're talking about the most dynamic, most innovative, most explosive offensive system in the entire NFL. Shanahan's offense has been dominating the league for years. Zone blocking, play action, bootlegs, tight ends who are lethal, both blocking and catching. And you know what we've got? That exact kind of roster. Think about it for a second. Our O-line is built for a zone blocking scheme. We've got tackles who can move in space, guards who can pull and lead outside runs. We've got Zach Ertz, a tight end who can block in line and also run short and intermediate routes with surgical precision. Adam Peters has been building this roster to mirror what worked in San Francisco. And now we might have the perfect coordinator to run that vision. You'd be crazy not to make this happen. But here's the real key. Jayden Daniels, our quarterback of the future, the guy who's supposed to bring this franchise back to glory. Did you see what happened this year? We ran the fewest under-center plays in the entire league. Does that make sense to you? Because to me, it doesn't. Jayden Daniels has the legs to be deadly in play action. He's got the arm to stretch the field vertically. He's got the smarts to read defenses and make quick decisions. But Kingsbury had him in shotgun 90% of the time, completely limiting his potential. McDaniel would change that immediately. Picture Daniels running play action from under center, the defense biting hard on the run fake, and him launching a 40-yard bomb down the middle. Picture bootlegs, where Jayden can use his legs to extend plays while his receivers break open downfield. Picture RPOs, where the defense has to respect both the run and the pass, opening up massive lanes for our playmakers. That's what McDaniel brings to the table. And you know what else? McDaniel has a personal relationship with Dan Quinn. When McDaniel was going through tough times in his personal life, it was Quinn who helped him get back on track when they were together in Atlanta. McDaniel has publicly said how much he respects Quinn, how Quinn basically saved his career. That kind of connection isn't something you just ignore. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. We're not going to be the only ones chasing McDaniel. This guy is going to be one of the hottest names in the entire coaching cycle. The Cleveland Browns are very interested in him. And here's the question that keeps me up at night. Is McDaniel really going to take a step down from head coach to offensive coordinator? Because look, there are 8 head coach openings in the NFL right now. And outside of Clint Kubiak and Kingsbury himself, there aren't many offensive-minded candidates out there. McDaniel's going to have head coach options. The Browns could offer him a shot to stay at that level without taking a demotion. What would you do in his shoes? And then there's the San Francisco 49ers. If Kubiak leaves for another team, the Niners are going to push hard to bring McDaniel back. Think about that. Kyle Shanahan has one of the most secure jobs in the league. McDaniel could go back there, work in a stable environment, bounce back after getting fired, and position himself to be a top head coach candidate again in a couple years. That's a very attractive option. And us? Well, we've got Jayden Daniels. We've got a roster tailor-made for his system. We've got Dan Quinn, his mentor. But we've also got uncertainty. Quinn's future isn't guaranteed after this disaster of a season. How much stability can we really offer McDaniel? Could he come in as OC and assistant head coach with a shot to take over if Quinn doesn't work out? Those are legit questions. I'm telling you this, if Dan Quinn and Adam Peters don't do everything they can to bring in McDaniel, they're making a massive mistake. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. An elite coordinator with the perfect system for our roster, with a personal bond to our head coach, available exactly when we need him most. We can't let this slip away. Do you think McDaniel will choose the Commanders over other options? Or will he take the safer route with the Niners, or stay a head coach with the Browns? Story 2. Brian Daboll as Plan B. If that shocked you, wait till you hear this. Because if for some reason we can't land McDaniel, we've got a Plan B that's no joke. I'm talking about Brian Daboll, the former head coach of the New York Giants, who just got fired. Now, I know what you're thinking. The guy who just got canned by the Giants? That's our Plan B. But let me break down why Daboll makes total sense for the Commanders. First off, let's talk about his track record with quarterbacks. This is the guy who turned Josh Allen from a raw, inaccurate project into one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. When Daboll got to Buffalo in 2018, Allen was completing barely 52% of his passes. 3 years later, he was an MVP candidate. That's not luck. That's elite coaching. And what did he do when he got to the Giants? Took Daniel Jones, a QB on the brink of being benched, and led him to the playoffs in his first year as head coach. Jones played so well, they gave him a massive contract extension. Yeah, that move didn't age well. But the point is, Daboll knows how to get the best out of young quarterbacks. Now think about what that means for Jayden Daniels. We've got a QB with all the talent in the world, but he's still developing. Daniels needs a coordinator who's going to push him, challenge him, get him out of his comfort zone. And by all accounts, Daboll's offense is one of the toughest to learn in the league. Players who've worked with him say his system is insanely complex. Receivers have multiple options on every play depending on what the defense does. It's like playing chess on the field. But here's the key. That complexity is what separates good offenses from great ones. You think it's a coincidence that the most successful offenses in the NFL are also the most complex? The Niners, the Chiefs, the Eagles, when they were rolling, they all run systems that force players to think, to read, to react in split seconds. And that's exactly what Daboll brings. But here's what I love about Daboll. He knows how to tailor his system to what his quarterback does well. When Russell Wilson started the season for the Giants, the offense looked one way, but when rookie Jackson Dart took over, Daboll flipped the script. More RPOs, more zone reads, more of what Dart did at Ole Miss. Daboll isn't stubborn. He gets that you have to start where your QB is comfortable before expanding his game. That's exactly what Jayden Daniels needs. Someone who respects what he does well, who uses his legs, who puts him in positions to succeed, but also someone who pushes him to grow, to do more, to become a complete quarterback who can win in multiple ways. And let's talk about collaboration. Terry McLaurin said at the end of the season that what makes an offense successful is open dialogue between players and coaches. Daboll is that kind of coordinator. His door's always open. He listens to his vets. But, and this is crucial, he still makes the final call. It's not a committee where everyone has equal say. Daboll's the chef. Others can suggest ingredients, but he decides what goes on the plate. That matters because this year, it felt like too many voices were in the mix on offense. Too many opinions, not enough clarity. With Daboll, you'd have structure, a clear leader who makes the final decisions, but values player input. And you know what else? Daboll never lost the locker room in New York. Even at the end, his players respected him and had his back. That says a lot about his character and his ability to connect with players. Because in this league, it doesn't matter how smart your system is if your players don't respect you. Now let's talk connections. Daboll worked with Adam Peters in New England when both were with the Patriots. Peters was in the front office. Daboll was coaching. They know each other. They respect each other. And Daboll also worked with Dan Quinn when both were with the New York Jets. These aren't surface-level relationships. These guys have been in the trenches together. That familiarity matters. When you hire someone, you want to know how they work, how they think, how they handle pressure. Quinn and Peters already know all that about Daboll. No surprises. And in a coaching cycle where time is short, that's a massive advantage. But here's my question for you, Commanders Nation. If it came down to McDaniel or Daboll, who would you pick? McDaniel's got the Shanahan system we all love, but Daboll's got the proven track record of developing young QBs. McDaniel's got the personal bond with Quinn, but Daboll's worked with Peters too. I think both would be huge upgrades over Kingsbury. They each bring something different to the table. But if you ask me, McDaniel is my top choice because of the system fit. Still, if we can't get him, Daboll is a plan B I feel great about. Do you trust Quinn and Peters to make the right call here? Story 3. Marshon Lattimore arrested. And just when you thought we were done with the bombshells, here comes something no one saw coming. Marshon Lattimore, our star cornerback we picked up at the trade deadline, just got arrested in Northeast Ohio for illegal gun possession. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. This one hit hard. Lattimore was supposed to be a key piece in fixing our secondary. When we brought him in from New Orleans, we were all pumped. A Pro Bowl level corner, a guy who can shut down the opposing team's top receiver. That's exactly what we needed. But then came the injury. Torn ACL in November. Season over. That was already a massive blow. We lost our best DB right when we needed him most. And now this! An arrest for illegal firearm possession while he's in Ohio. The Commanders put out a statement saying they're aware of the situation, gathering more info, and in contact with the league office. But let's be real. This does not look good. Not at all. According to reports, Lakewood police arrested him, and this is an ongoing investigation being reviewed by the prosecutor. We don't have all the details yet. We don't know exactly what happened, what the circumstances were, if there are mitigating factors. But what we do know is this is a serious issue. And you know what frustrates me the most? The timing. We're at a point where this team needs stability. We need players who are locked in, who understand the weight of the moment. We just had a 5-12 season. We fired both coordinators. There are questions about Dan Quinn's future. The roster's in transition. This is when veteran leaders need to set the tone. And instead, we've got one of our most important players facing criminal charges. That's not what we need right now. Now, I'm going to be fair here. Lattimore deserves the benefit of the doubt until we know more. I'm not going to crucify him without the facts. But I'm also not going to ignore the reality. In the NFL, perception matters. And right now, the perception is that the Commanders are in chaos. Think about how this looks from the outside. Terrible season. Coordinators fired. Reports of front office meddling. Disagreements over player usage. And now a star player arrested. Does that sound like a team that's got it together? To me, it sounds like a team searching for its identity. And what about a league suspension? Because you know the NFL is going to investigate this, and if they decide Lattimore violated the personal conduct policy, we could be looking at a multi-game suspension. That means, even when he's back from the ACL, probably mid-season at best, he could miss even more time. We gave up draft capital to get Lattimore. We're paying him real money. And now there's a legit chance he doesn't play a single snap for us in 2026. How is that not a massive concern? I'm telling you this. This situation is a reminder that in the NFL, talent isn't enough. You need character. You need players who make good decisions off the field. Because it doesn't matter how good you are on Sundays if you're constantly creating distractions the rest of the week. Now, I'm not saying we should cut Lattimore or do anything drastic. Not yet. But this organization needs to have a serious conversation about the kind of culture we're trying to build. Because if we're going to be contenders again, we need players who are all in, on and off the field. Do you think Lattimore will get suspended? And do you think this affects his long-term future with the team? Commanders Nation, these 3 stories are going to shape our 2026. We've got a shot at hiring an elite offensive coordinator who could turn Jaden Daniels into a superstar. We've got a strong plan B in Brian Daboll if McDaniel doesn't work out. And we've got a complicated situation with Marshon Lattimore that needs to be resolved fast. Which of these stories worries you the most? Do you trust Quinn and Peters to make the right calls this off-season? Do you think McDaniel will choose Washington over other teams? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you think. And if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for? We're a family here, a community of die-hard Commanders fans who live and breathe burgundy and gold. I bring you the latest news, deep analysis, and the conversations you need to have about this team every single day. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell so you don't miss a thing. Tomorrow we've got more breaking news on the offensive coordinator search. Don't miss it. And remember, hail to the Redskins!